Hi, Rob. Welcome to your Rock Your Body Spotlight.
Hi, Summer. It's great to be here. Thanks for asking me to do it.
I'm so excited to have you here. And for anyone seeing the video, you've also got your little fur babe Gidget with us too.
Oh, yes, yes, she wanted to be involved.
Very sweet. Why don't you tell everybody where your beautiful accent comes from, where you're located, and who you are?
Right, I'm in Melbourne, Australia, and I work as a nurse part-time, and I live by the beach, which I feel really fortunate about, and really enjoy it. My dog enjoys walking along there too.
Fantastic. Great. Well, I'm so happy that you did this today, that you're doing this today, because we've had a chance to work together for a while now, and I've just been so honored to be a part of all the different experiences that you've had along the way, and the ups and the downs, and just seeing how much you've really changed since we first started together.
Yes, that's very, very true. It's been a really special time of my life working with you over the last few months. It's been wonderful.
Well, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about how you felt before we started working together? What was your relationship with your body like?
It was really difficult. It had been difficult all my life. I'd was told as a child that I was overweight and I needed to watch my weight or I was going to get very fat, and that was before puberty even. So I started having a diet mentality very, very young, and went on my first really official diet at the age of 21, just before my first marriage. I joined Weight Watchers and lost weight then. But every time I lost weight, eventually over a year or two, I would gain it back. And I noticed each time I gained back the weight, I was even bigger than before. And so, little by little, as I dieted, regained, it seemed like my whole life's purpose was to just finally get to a so-called goal weight, and then my life could start.
Yes.
And eventually, towards the end of about a year ago, I threw in the towel. I realised that every diet I'd been on throughout my whole life, I'm 57 now, had led to weight gain, even if it had given me brief moments of respite, thinking I'm the size I'm supposed to be for a week or something before it all starts creeping back on.
Right.
And I realised I was out of control. Diets didn't work. I had nowhere else to go, and I was very depressed. I was very down on myself, and almost felt like, despite everything else I've achieved in my life, I felt like such a failure. I started hiding at home. I didn't want to see people. I didn't want to see friends that I hadn't seen. I was afraid of people commenting on my body. I felt uncomfortable. And because I wouldn't go outside, didn't want to go outside other than to walk my dog, I was getting less and less able to move and losing my flexibility and my fitness. And that was frustrating to me because that's something I enjoy.
Yeah. And so what really prompted you to want to change and just be done with all of that?
I went on a summer holiday with my sister, and she put a photo of me side on, slumped over in a dress, looking like I was having quintuplets. And when I saw that photo on her Facebook, I just something died inside. I thought, I can't go on, I've got to hide at home. And I spent that whole beach holiday not leaving the house. I didn't go to the beach. I didn't go to the shops. I didn't go to the restaurants. I just, to me, I just sort of grieved at home and couldn't leave. I couldn't leave home. I was so ashamed. And I just thought, I can't live like this anymore. So I I sought out a book that I'd been meaning to read. It was called If Not Dieting, Then What, and written by a local Melbourne doctor. And I arranged to see one of his colleagues, and she was fabulous. She got me started on this journey. She actually referred me to you, Summer.
That's pretty amazing.
And and it was the best thing she ever did for me, because I hadn't even joined Facebook, and here I am recording for the world.
I didn't realize you. Oh my goodness, you weren't on Facebook before. That's amazing, because you are an avid poster on Facebook and Instagram too. I love your Instagram.
Yes, I've taken it all up with a vengeance, haven't I?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's so cool. And we're gonna get to that, because I'm not sure I knew that story about you on holiday with your sister before, and to see the 180 change that's happened, because I know that recently, like, your sister posted a photo of you, and we can talk about that, but
Yes.
just to see like how much of a reversal has happened as it relates to the way that you're living, and the way that you're no longer like, you're not hiding, you're going out and you're going to the beach and you're doing all those things. So that is that's really profound. That's really profound.
Yes.
Yeah, that's amazing. You have so much to be proud of.
I'm so grateful, so much to be grateful for as well. Yes.
So sorry, go ahead.
Go on.
I was just well, I feel like I cut you off there. So were you gonna say something?
Oh, I just think, you've given me the keys to let myself out of jail. That's how it feels.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well, let's talk about that. What were some of the stepping stones that helped you along the way?
Oh, well, I suppose the one that impacted me majorly the first time was getting rid of clothes that I'd hung on to for 10 to 15 years, that I might have worn once or might have worn twice. And obviously, because I'd only worn them, once or twice, had fabulous comments about them, because it was in my very brief, close to goal weight times. They became a goal weight in themselves, of just, sitting in my cupboard waiting for me to get back there.
Yes.
And letting go of the idea that I was ever going back there was so freeing.
Yes.
Because I don't have a way to get back there that doesn't involve punishment and suffering and mental illness, basically, or, extreme medical procedures or drugs or whatever.
It's amazing how big of a step that is for people. It's one of the simple things that I feel like I give to people, but it often has one of the greatest impacts. Like, when I ask people that question, they'll always refer back to that time when they got rid of those clothes, because I feel like that's when that's really when you cross over the line to say, I'm not going back.
Yes, that's right. And instead of just putting up with whatever you can find at Kmart and Target, I then started deciding to spend money and finding clothes that I felt good in and felt comfortable in and felt confident in. And that was a big turnaround, because I really do enjoy clothing and, fashion and dressing up, but I felt it wasn't for the likes of me, because that's not the way fashion's targeted at all in our world. So it was wonderful finding all these resources for larger women, older women, age appropriate or whatever, or not age appropriate, it doesn't really matter. It's whatever feels like me, whatever I feel like on the day. Which is such a change to cover up clothes that you just hide in.
That's so good. I love that. What were some of the things that you are most proud of? What are some of the changes that you're most proud of?
I'm most proud of that I'm less attached to the mirror these days. Sometimes I hardly know whether my hair's upright or flat or sideways or whatever. I'm not so hooked on the mirror anymore. I don't worry about that so much. I focus much more on who I am, how I feel, what I want to do in the day, what I want to achieve, the things that I can that, give really deep satisfaction. And that was prompted by you helping to find what my true values were. And although I was giving lip service and buying into the value of, the superficial, how you look is the most important thing, once I let go of that, it's really freed up my time, my sense of peace of mind, my energy to put into things that really, I suppose, feed my soul in a much, much deeper way. And that's been almost like a miracle that's happened.
That's incredible. What are some of the things that you've been able to do that you didn't think you'd be able to do, or that you thought you had to wait until you lost weight to be able to do?
Yes, well, one of the things that frustrated me being in a bigger body was I felt I was losing flexibility. It was harder to bend over and twist around and, just do general day-to-day tasks. And so I found that a yoga group called Fat Yoga had started up in my area. And although I'd done yoga years ago when I was in a smaller body, I thought, I'm not the sort of person that can go to yoga. So I felt really comfortable going to what was called fat yoga. It's whoever decides that they're fat. No one says you're too fat or you're not fat enough. And that's been wonderful for me because it's not only body flexibility, being around similar people of my size, connecting with other people in real life. It also gives me that lovely meditation time, that that peace from all those sort of the monkey mind, rabbit thoughts, and just being able to connect into breathing and things like that. So yoga's been a really important thing for me. The other thing I did this year that I really fell in love with rap music. I know I'm a bit behind the times, but I fell in love with Eminem.
I love this. I love this. You have to put this.
Passed me by when it was happening. Now I'm thinking, when's he coming to Melbourne?
Oh my God, I love you. That's amazing.
And so for a while I did hip hop dancing, which I really enjoyed as well.
Oh, nice.
So although I was the biggest in the class and we had to do it in front of mirrors, which was quite challenging, I did enjoy that for the time. But they were playing Eminem. They were playing, really much softer, gentler, less offensive music. So I lost interest.
It wasn't hard enough for you, Rob. Wow.
It wasn't dark enough.
Oh, that's so good. Oh my God. I'm like crying, laughing right now. That's so funny.
Oh, I know. I am too.
Oh, that's great.
And the other thing is because I've started to value myself as a person and have more respect for myself and treated myself with kindness and dignity, I've been able to be more open and vulnerable with other people in my life and been able to set boundaries with them. I've also been able to get really close to them because I'm willing to share my vulnerabilities, my insecurities, my, feelings of failure and whatever. So I'm so much closer to people. When I felt, I felt so isolated when I thought the game was to be thin and then you can get close to people. I've realised being thin is not a requirement to make that true connection with people, and that's been really precious to me.
That's so amazing. That's so great. And how does that make you feel?
Oh, just wonderful. I feel alive. I feel like, this life I was waiting to live all these years, when I got these, external conditions right, I feel like this life is really beginning for me now.
That's amazing.
And yes, I'm enjoying things that I always thought, were conditional on being a certain, looking a certain way, being a certain way, having my body under control in a certain way.
Yeah, yeah. And I know you posted the photo of you going surfing and doing fly ball with your dog, and
Yes.
leaving that picture up that your sister posted of you guys at the beach.
Oh, that's right.
What's
Yes,
that been like? Yeah.
I was sitting cross-legged on the beach just in a sundress with my dog, of course, dressed in her rashie. And she was sitting on my, just in the cross of my legs. And my sister took a photo of me and she said, "Can I put it on Facebook?" And I said, "Yeah, no worries." I didn't even look at the photo, and let her put it on Facebook, because I thought whatever it looks like is fine. It doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter because I know who I am,
Yeah.
and I'm not there to decorate the world. That's
Yeah.
just me being happy. And in
Wow.
fact, when I did see the picture, I was happy with it, and I shared it on my own Facebook and Instagram as well. So it's
So
really,
cool.
that's a true sense of freedom, for me, to
Yeah.
not even care what the image looks like, because I know, whatever it looks like is not really relevant to who I really am.
Yeah.
That's just the outer shell of me anyway.
Yeah, yeah. I find that so amazing, because where we started with this, when you told the story about your sister posting or showing you that photo, not posting it, just showing it to you, and then hiding for the rest of that holiday. To hear you, embrace it and just be like, no worries, share it, and then you sharing it too.
Yes.
That's incredible. That's so
It is.
great.
It is. Look,
Yeah.
and I've re-educated my mind's eye, because I think the doctor suggested, and you also suggested, following people similar to me on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
So larger women, older women, dressed in beautiful fashion, beautiful clothes, well presented or just presented as they are. And it's re-educated my mind's eye so that I can see the beauty in all of those images. I can see the attraction of those images, and I can relate to that instead of thinking I'm not that all the time. And in fact, it's sometimes gone so far that I'm almost prejudiced the other way now, and I'm a bit scared of that. I don't want that to happen either. So,
Mm-hmm.
it's almost like I've been so exposed to it. I still need to see beauty in all types of bodies, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. You've been becoming so indoctrinated into fat acceptance, and just seeing larger women in larger bodies, that the other almost seems less. It's just you haven't been exposed to it as much. So yeah, it's really about acknowledging diversity and beauty in all shapes and sizes,
It
and
is.
yeah,
It's almost a shock when I see like just a general catalogue, thinking, oh,
yeah, yeah.
So I see, actually that experiences teaches me how brainwashed I've been. You can brainwash people to believe
Yes.
whatever they're exposed to most commonly is the norm, and that's my own personal experiment
Mm,
to
yeah,
know
so
that
interesting.
now. Yes.
That's so interesting. Yeah. So how does it feel to get this baggage off your shoulders?
Oh, such a relief, such a weight off my shoulders. I don't wake up every day as a failure. I wake up excited about what next dream I'm going to tackle, what I'm going to do next. And, I've tapped into, well, I've let go of a lot of really hard feelings. As you know, on coaching calls, I often cried. I often ended up laughing as well. I sort of set my heart free and my emotions free with your help and the
Yeah.
help of the group. And I feel excited about life. I feel I can do things without waiting for anything else to happen. I can get on with things now. So at the moment, I'm pursuing a dream that I've had the last few years of wanting to become a foster carer. And I've had training, and I've had assessment. I've got one more assessment to go. I've got all my house sorted out, ready to go. And I'm really excited about that, because I didn't get to be a mother when I was younger. And I decided, there was no way of ever achieving that aim. But by being able to share love with foster babies or children, even if I have to give them up, I'm really, really excited about that. I think it's something, just so deeply important to my soul that I really want to do. And I'm just so glad that you helped me tap into that and find it, and have the courage to pursue it, because in the past I could have said I'd like to do it, but no, I can't leave home, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, you are doing something that is so purposeful and meaningful to you and to others. And I think that that's what this is all about. It's about, freeing ourselves to get in touch with what truly has deep meaning to us and what's really going to give us fulfillment and satisfaction. And then having the courage to go and do those things because we're no longer affected by our fear. Our fear doesn't hold us back. We still have fears. We still have doubts,
Yes.
obviously.
Oh, yes.
It's always up and down, but it's not directing us like it used to be. And you're a perfect example of what's truly possible. And I think that my heart bursts when I hear you talk about pursuing this dream of yours, because you're going to be such an amazing foster mother. And to think that you maybe wouldn't have done that before. It's incredible to know that you're giving those gifts to the world.
Oh, thank you so much for that. Yes, it's like it started out with something so superficial as my body size, and yet you've given me something so much more precious and so much more meaningful, to identify those values and have the courage to pursue those dreams. So it's it's way more than expected. You could charge double, Summer.
You're not the first person that's told me that, but thank you. Get it while it's still hot. Is there anything else that you want to share about your journey or the process?
Look, it was hard at times. It was hard, and
Yeah.
it was tempting sometimes to run away thinking, I don't want to think about that. I don't want to remember that. I don't want to feel that. But by letting my tears flow, by marking out some time for myself, taking private time, learning to say no, putting my needs first, has really been the best gift. And it's what needed to happen. I needed to go through this process in order to feel free. And I'm just so glad I did. I started with the free program and then the 21 days, but this took me so much deeper and is still taking me deeper. So as you know, I'm going to be on your calls in future as well.
Of
So
course. Well, that is exciting. I
yes,
mean, that's why it's there forever, because I think that it's one of these things that it's I call myself like a mental chiropractor. It's like, everything will feel good and then you'll need a bit of an adjustment, and that's why it's always there for you. And I think that there's always an opportunity to deepen our learning and understanding of ourselves.
yes.
And the community becomes so tight as well.
Oh, the community, that's been really precious to me. The people who've come on the calls consistently, or if they couldn't come on, they listened and commented. And so it's really felt like we've all been in it together. And, we so many of us have shared some of our deepest pains, our deepest past sorrows, and we cry with each other, we laugh with each other, and we cheer each other on when we know how hard it is to step forward and, reach out to the things that we really want to do. So it's fantastic being part of this community as well. I really cherish it. It's so precious. So I'm not leaving Facebook anytime soon.
That's good. Mark Zuckerberg will be happy to hear that as well. Well, what's your advice to other people who are
Oh,
listening?
do it. I would say, if you're suffering and you've been suffering for years and you know there's no other way and you know you're out of all options, this is going to change your life in ways you can't even imagine now. I can't convince you, but I am convinced myself. So I didn't expect all this from a program about body image. But yeah, it's like, you put in 10% and get 100% back. So
Well, that's amazing to
do it.
hear. Well, I mean, I want to
Yes,
acknowledge that it takes a lot of courage to jump onto something that we don't have trust in because we've never experienced it before. And
true.
you went into it full force and you put in a lot of effort and you always showed up, and always asked for help, and you were so honest and vulnerable, and you followed through on anything that we talked about. And so I think it's also just a testament to, you know, I hear you being grateful for me, but what I'm trying to say is that so much of this was you as well, and that your efforts are something really to be celebrated here, because you persevered through some of the hard feelings, and you always came out and asked for help when you needed it, and even just sometimes to support others, and that was just such a beautiful thing.
Yes, well, I realise asking for help is a superpower.
It is, isn't it? One that we
I
don't
have
use enough.
discovered that in life.
Yes,
Yes,
so
yes.
good. Well, thank you so much, Rob. It's amazing to hear the journey again. You know I've heard some of these things from you before, but to hear you articulate it, and hear, from where things started to where they are now, it's so cool to see how far you've come. And I hope that that you take some time to celebrate this for yourself too.
I am, yeah, I certainly am. I think about it all the time, and I was a bit nervous about doing today, when you asked me about the spotlight, but I'm so glad I've done it. It's the sort of thing I'm going to say yes to.
Good.
I'm saying yes to life, and that's thanks to you.
Oh, thank you, Rob. That means so much. Well, on that note, thank you again, and rock on. I should play some
Thanks,
Eminem to
Summer.
send you out. All right.
Okay.